Hey guys, I'm Samcrac, and we gotta go. All right, we are off. We are running late for our rebuild inspection. But at least we have a fast car. The number one thing everybody's been bothering me for, the no gas. I haven't been able to drive this car on public roads until now, and we're at a gas station, so let's get a full tank. This thing must have been really empty. 20.8 gallons is what it just took. $56 fill up. All right guys, we made it where we need to be. Only thing is, suspension light came on. That might be due to one of the ride height sensors that I kind of have hooked up but don't really have it set up right. I'm hoping that's what it is. But anytime I ever get to the inspection facility, I always pull off into this side parking lot right here, and I just walk around the car, make sure like the front corner isn't hanging off or something. Basically whatever was repaired, I make sure everything worked out right, because let's face it, this is the first real time I'm driving this car. So let's pop stuff here. Let's make sure that everything looks good. I don't know why that suspension light is on. I'm kind of bugged that that suspension light is on. I also am just gonna make sure like none of my reservoirs fell out. Oh, we gotta pop this as well. All right, let's see here. As far as our reservoirs go, where is that thing? Okay, here's one right here. The other one is zip tied hidden. I'm gonna move that back there so it's not front and center. And then if we come around the front, let's check it out. So let me just make sure. Yeah, all of our modules are in place. Right now we got to make it in for the inspection. We are a little bit late, but we should be fine. That suspension code, they won't really care about that as long as there's no airbag lights on. All right, if you've seen any of my other videos where I go in for an inspection, I'm usually a little bit earlier. There's usually a line of people where you wait in that line. There is no line right now, but the garage doors are still open. And I've also set my exhaust valves to close because I don't want to irritate these people. So, see, it says vehicle inspections do not stop, do not proceed until waved in. All right, so what just happened there, I pulled into the garage. The guy took a look at the car. He asked me some funky questions. I'll tell you about that in a second. And then I went into the office. I was issued my registration paperwork right here. And car is done. It passed inspection. Now, talking about the funky questions, let me show you exactly on the dashboard what I'm talking about. So on pretty much every single car, when you turn it on from a dead off, you'll notice a lot of the lights pop on, then go off. In some cases, the lights stay on, like the check engine light here and that tire pressure light that's been on because I haven't reset it, that EPC light, the battery light. But like I've told you in the past, the one thing that they always check during a rebuild inspection is your airbag light. They want to make sure it doesn't stay on. But one thing I've never seen them check for is that it comes on and goes off. Let's do that again. See, there's my airbag light right there. Comes on, then goes off. Gentleman that was doing the inspection on my car, he said he didn't see the airbag light come on, then go off. And I pretty much told him, well, maybe it's not supposed to because there was no airbag issues with this car. As I put in the paperwork that I filed, I showed you guys all the prior paperwork that I filed. And I've told you guys, even though the rules vary state to state, pretty much every single state that I know of wants to see or hear of the condition of the car before it was rebuilt, including whether any airbags deployed. Obviously no airbags deployed in this car. I explained that to him. He didn't care. Then when I got in the car and turned it on, saw that it was doing exactly what he wanted, showed it to him. I think everything was fine. And at that point, inspection was pretty much complete. Of course, they did also look at the repair underneath the hood. And one of the things I think might be a misconception is that there's always really cool cars going in to the inspection facility, like an Audi R8 or like my Audi RS7 or even like Focus RS or a Domino's pizza car. The truth is, a lot of the cars that I've seen, pretty much every single time I've gone in for rebuild inspection, I see pretty normal cars. And a lot of times they're older cars, cars that are really cheap, cars that get totaled out really easily. And in some cases, they don't even have to come from auction. In some cases, they're cars that were fully covered under their owner's insurance policy. Insurance wants to total the car out. They have the insurance company total out, but they buy it back from the insurance company, and you get how that song and dance goes. So these are people rebuilding cars that have really minor fixes on them that need inspections, like maybe a front bumper replacement or a headlight and front bumper replacement or a hood replacement. Anyway, at this point, the car is street legal. We're gonna get on the road right now. I'm gonna take the car home, and the last thing I wanna do is actually kind of take you outside the R8 and use it as an example as to what you might see them do at a rebuild inspection facility. A lot of the things I've seen them do in the past to various cars of mine, and just witnessing what they're doing to other people's cars, and tell you some of the most frequent things that I've seen them also fail people for. Just so you guys have an idea of what to expect if you ever went in for a rebuild inspection. A lot of people seem intimidated by this process, but they shouldn't, because if you have everything set before you go in, you're gonna pass. It is one of the greatest feelings, driving a car home after working on it away from home and then seeing it at home amongst the other great barn cars. Of course, we got the Audi RS7 back here, the Corvette Grand Sport right over here. And all three of these cars are unique in their own way because they were all damaged very differently. So the Corvette Grand Sport, we could consider that kind of front end damage. It actually ran up over a curb, damaging the bumper. So bumpers in the front end damage here. The Audi RS7 back here, that car was rear ended. So it had rear end damage. Of course, we know about the cracked aluminum piece in the strut mount here on the R8. Some of you guys love that repair. Some of you guys absolutely hate that repair. That's beside the point. What I want to do right now is go through all three of the cars, show you how a rebuild inspector might take a look at them to make sure that they're worthy of passing an inspection. Starting simply with the Corvette, you see the photos here. These are the photos that I turned in to the inspector's office before actually bringing the car in. Now the car looks like this. What they want to know is, did I assemble the front end of this car in an appropriate fashion? So the main components being your bumper and your two fenders. What I've seen them do countless amount of times, they go up to the front of the car. Specifically on these bumpers, they'll put their knee against it. This Corvette's really low, so it's tough to do. And they'll lean on it. Is there a lot of flex? Do you see the bumper moving anywhere? I don't. They don't. And they pass this car. They'll go ahead. They'll do the same thing on the fenders. They'll look for anything major. This hood has a nice gap in it because it's open right now. But otherwise, it's as simple as that. Checking out one of the greatest cars I currently have in the fleet, the RS7. This car is really dirty. Excuse all the cars, they're all really dirty, especially this one right here. This car, again, rear end damage. Now, I gotta be completely honest with you guys, this car is still not 100% finished. However, the rear bumper is attached. The rear unibody work was done a while ago. So when I take this car in for a rebuild inspection, they're gonna do the same exact thing. They're gonna come up to it, they're gonna put their knee against it, and they're gonna see, is there any flex? Now, I am going to remove this rear bumper to tidy up a few things underneath there and make sure it's on really good before it's completely finished. But I would imagine that right now, even in the state that it's in, even with this gap, that it's not bad, but it could be a little bit better. It could be pushed in a little bit more and then locked into place. That's how these bumpers go. I would imagine this would pass because it's really secure. It's bolted in and you can see it doesn't wiggle, it doesn't wobble, it's not going anywhere, and it has its reinforcement in place. Don't underestimate that foam reinforcement. A lot of guys will think that those are there for nothing. They'll try and skip them. That is important because it absorbs impact at really low speeds. Like in a parking lot, if you bump into something going 5 miles an hour, that piece of foam will keep your bumper from cracking. And of course, they just want to see it at these inspections. Now, in the case of the R8, they kind of looked at it and they go, where was the damage on this car? And what I ended up doing was popping the hood for them. And you'll notice a lot of the trim is still left off the front end of this car. I did that deliberately because I knew they were going to ask to see the repair, and well, the repair would be hidden when the trim is in place. But I just showed them the weld there. They look to see that it was once broken. I showed them the photos of the crack, and it is now fixed. So that was good to go. Let's pretend that you have a car that had a door that was repaired or replaced on it, or maybe quarter panel damage, some sort of side impact. What they're gonna do is they're gonna start by looking at the gaps in the door, make sure nothing is excessively off. You know, when you're reinstalling doors and you're repairing these areas, it can be hard to get these gaps 100%. And in my experience, they haven't dinged you if it's off by a little bit, but what they wanna know is that this is operating properly. So they'll open the door up, then they will go ahead, they'll give it a little shove and make sure that it closes like it should. If you made it this far, now you know entirely too much about rebuild inspections here in the state of Florida. Yeah, I know not everybody cares, but it is one of the most frequently asked questions I receive. How do rebuild inspections actually go? And what do you need to do to pass them? There's nothing to be worried about as long as you fix your car the right way and pay the state the fees that they are due. Well, you'll have your salvage car rebuilt and street legal in no time. Talking about street legal, if you are excited for a street legal Audi R8, be sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're not already following me on Instagram, it's really simple. You can find me right here or just click the link in the description box below. It'll take you right to there and you'll see a lot of the things we're working on, whether it's the Audi R8 or maybe it's the new sports car rebuild project that I just picked up from Salvage Auction there before it shows up here on YouTube. Guys, I thank you very much for watching today, and I will catch you very soon.